Hi Hawthorn, welcome to your Sacred Grove reading. You are a child of Hawthorn if you were born between 9 degrees of Aries and 27 degrees of Aries. So if you just go and check your birth chart and your sun's natal position, and then you look for the number that's next to that sign, that is how you will find which birth tree you are born under in the Celtic divination system. So, children of Hawthorn, a message please for the children born under the guardianship of Hawthorn. 10 of Wands. So Hawthorn, you have been on a journey that has taken a really long time, or it might have taken a really long time to come to this moment, to come to some sort of a pinnacle point in your journey or within this chapter of your life, which has been quite difficult in terms of the weight of responsibility that has been placed upon you, or the feeling of having so many things that you need to complete or so many things that you need to keep on top of. And it might have been something that you feel like you've just been on this cycle of doing it again and again and showing up every single day, carrying the wood, chopping the wood, making the fire. And this might have sent you to some dark places within yourself in certain moments where you've just felt like it's just been a bit too much and that you're not sure if you can carry on actually carrying all of this weight for much longer, or all of these responsibilities. You might have a lot of people dependent on you, or a lot of people watching you and looking up to you, and you know, you're trying to organize a large group of people, or you might have a lot of family members that are really dependent on you during this time, or something like that. Or perhaps just responsibility at work has increased in some form, and it just feels like it's been this uphill battle, and you've just been doing an incredible job of just getting your head down and just cracking on and making sure that you show up every single day and you deliver everything that you've said that you'll deliver on. And I want to say that you're absolutely smashing it in terms of just being able to balance that amount of weight and responsibility. But the fact that it's the 10 of Wands here is indicating that you're definitely starting to come to the end of this now. You're definitely starting to reach the end of this cycle. My apologies, Hawthorn. I don't have any tea with me today, so I just have this ginormous water bottle. Time to take a drink, Hawthorn. Time to take a drink and a rest. When was the last time you really sat down and gave yourself some nurturing? When was the last time that you really sought to your own self, right? When was the last time that you actually made sure that you fulfilled all the things that you need to do to make sure that you're feeling 100%? You might have been giving a lot to other people recently, and now it's time to focus on you, Hawthorn. Wow. You might have difficulty in communicating this. I feel like any time that I start coughing in a reading, there's always some sort of blockage that's been coming up in communication, in terms of not being able to voice one's true feelings on something. So you might have felt actually like you've had this huge burden of responsibility, Hawthorn, and you've either just been keeping the stress and the strain of it to yourself. Not because I don't feel like the environment isn't welcoming enough. I feel like actually if you did just voice how much you've been struggling and the weight of the responsibility, that it would be very well received. But you don't want to let anybody else know actually how much it's all been getting on top of you a little bit. And we had the Strength card. Look at this bull, this Taurian energy that's almost coming through here. This is how you're appearing to everybody else, Hawthorn, right? This is how you're feeling, and this is how you're appearing. on the surface, to outsiders looking in, you are appearing as this person that has it together, that is charging forward, strong and true, who is immovable, unshakable in their position. And you have a lot of people watching you or observing you, but they're not seeing this, right? They're not seeing actually just the level of responsibility and the workload or the deadlines that are being placed upon you and all these things that you're trying to juggle. They just see that, yeah, Hawthorn completely has it together. And I want to say you're actually like a pinnacle of inspiration to strengthen other people as well. I feel like there's a lot of people, like I'm seeing all these flowers here at the base of the picture. Like there's a lot of people that are actually having eyes on you right now, right? You're sort of center stage in a certain way, and you're just doing an excellent job of keeping everything together and being that archetype of a leader that exhibits strength and determination and focused will in order to bring your aims and your goals and objectives to fruition. You're really coming across as a beacon or a pinnacle of guidance, leadership, forging the path forward. I'm seeing this bull sort of being a way maker, right? A way shower, a pathfinder. You're finding a path of some description through the trees, perhaps where there's been a lot of confusion regarding something, or stagnancy maybe. You're sort of going in somewhere or into some sort of a situation and showing a group of people a way or a path forward regarding it. And I want to say that you're coming across as an incredible leader whilst you're doing that. Children of Hawthorn, show me some more please, for the children born under Hawthorn. Singer of intuition. So I want to say, Hawthorn, that actually you are moving through whatever situation that you are pathfinding through, almost in a way that is incredibly intuitive. It's almost like there isn't a blueprint for this. There isn't a blueprint that you're following necessarily, or a structure that you're following. You're sort of just moving through your intuition and finding your path forward based upon what actually feels like the right direction, what feels like the right thing to do. You're seeking a way forward by following your own light. Do you see how she has this lantern hanging here? It's almost like I said, you're being a pathfinder and you're being a way shower. So I feel like you're doing something that hasn't necessarily been done before. And you're guiding this group of people in successfully establishing something or a new way of doing something. And it's coming to you through intuitive hits. It's almost like you're receiving these intuitive hits from deep within your spirit, from deep within your soul, that is guiding you forward. And it's almost like the path, actually, you can't necessarily see that far into the future or that far forward with the path. It's almost like these intuitive hits just sort of drop down through the ether and just like hit your temple, hit your third eye over periods of time. It's almost like this information, this guidance is being fed down from something to you, and you are the one that is receiving it, and then you are the one that is then moving forward and then guiding this group of people, right? And being that shining light, that beacon of navigation forward on the path. But like I said, it's almost like all these people are looking at you like, wow, this person really has their stuff together. This person really knows what they're doing. And actually, Hawthorn, you might not feel like that internally at all. You might be sort of almost at this breaking point of like, wow, I have taken on so much responsibility and so much recently. I don't know if I can continue on this anymore because there is so much weight, there is such a heavy burden on my shoulders, and I kind of feel like I'm sort of just figuring it out as I go along. I'm not necessarily absolutely certain that the path that I'm moving down next, or the next footstep that I take, is actually going to be necessarily the right one or in the right direction. But I do want to say, Hawthorn, that you might have some doubts or some hesitancy that has been popping up recently about the path forward. But I do want to say that you are incredibly connected, Hawthorn, and these intuitive hits and these intuitive guide points, these way markers, these signposts that are showing you which way's next, even if you can't necessarily see super far down the path and you don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen. I do want to say that this path that you're taking, it is guided in a way that is by something greater than yourself, something greater, a wider energy is guiding you and is safe holding you and safeguarding you and ensuring that you won't step a foot wrong. If you just keep going deep within yourself and keep connecting deep within that intuitive heart space and just feeling your way through it, almost like a path of a river where water finds the easiest path, right? If you just follow that intuitive river within yourself, then you will find the path of least resistance and you will be guided to exactly where you need to be guided to, right? This isn't just a fanciful whim that you're sort of tuning into, or you're sort of just making it up as you go along. That's actually not what's happening at all, even though that might be how it feels, Hawthorn. I actually feel like you are very deeply guided, more than you realize, actually. There's a lot of beings and people included, beings and people that want this to work, that want this to be successful, that want this to come to fruition. And then we've had Arvel the parrot. So do you remember earlier I was saying about communication, right? And that I started coughing randomly, and see, as soon as I actually delivered that message, the cough pretty much completely subsided, which is always the case. So there was definitely something coming through there about this need of a communication. And actually, I'm looking at this Arvel parrot now, and like, can you see, like, this almost looks like tears that are sort of like in a cartoon fashion sort of coming out of his eyes, right? And then we go back to this card. You might have really been struggling as of late, Hawthorn. You might really have been struggling and just keeping all this weighted heaviness close to your chest, close to yourself, and not sharing it with your peers, or not sharing it with your team or your family or your friends. And this card is basically speaking to the fact that there is a real need to be vocal now, Hawthorn. There is a real need to actually speak up and vocalize that actually I need to share this load. I can't bear this weight alone anymore. I actually need help from others. I need to share the responsibility. And it might be because, Hawthorn, you've been in such a state of leadership and you've been put on this pedestal that you are scared of showing any signs of weakness. Because like I said, if you have a lot of people depending on you, it's almost like you're trying to save face. You don't want to let on that actually you've been struggling quite a bit recently and it's all getting a little bit overwhelming and you're feeling overburdened. You might feel like actually you need to share the responsibility, but you don't want to let the mask slip. You don't want to let anybody know that you're struggling, because then you feel like the people that have been following your guidance might suddenly turn around and judge you, or they might suddenly turn around and, I don't know, there's almost this feeling here of like, because you feel like you're potentially making it up as you go along a little bit, even though you're not, you're taking a very, sorry, I'm like so uncomfortable on the floor, I keep getting a dead leg. Like I said, you're actually really connected. And you're approaching it in a very analytical, logical way, and you're driven by the facts. All right, you're not just making it up as you go along, but it's almost like a case of imposter syndrome. And you've gotten to this point now where you've gained such a traction, or you've gained such a position or a role of leadership and guidance, that you don't want to let on the idea that you might not necessarily have all the answers, or you might not necessarily have all your cards together, and that actually you need to share this responsibility a little bit. But this message is coming through actually saying that, Hawthorn, you need to vocalize that. You need to vocalize that and actually communicate with your peers or your organization, your group, your friends, your family, however this applies. You need to communicate your needs, and you won't be judged for it. There's going to be no judgment here, right? This is a safe space for you to express your needs. Nobody is going to judge you, Hawthorn. It's only you that's judging yourself, nobody else. I actually see so much love that is surrounding you, Hawthorn. You have so much love from your peers and a lot of respect, because this leadership position has not come from an egotistical place, right? It's actually come from a place that you have been in touch with this intuition and this guidance, and you've sort of just been following your heart and your intuitive hits with it. And I actually feel like because you've done that, and because it is a path that has been guided by something greater than yourself, that you have attracted this huge wave of love and support and community and connection around you. And it is completely safe for you to share how you actually are feeling right now, Hawthorn. You are in a completely safe space to communicate that. And I actually think when you communicate that, that is when this end appears, right? This end of overburdened responsibility. The weight is suddenly lifted, and suddenly Hawthorn can breathe and feel so much lighter because they've actually spoken their truth and it's been received. Hawthorn. Beautiful. I feel like that's where the message wants to finish. But Hawthorn, if you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe and then tune in for the next reading. I hope this helped somebody out there. And I hope you have a beautiful week, Hawthorn, and I'm sending you lots of love, and I shall see you in the next video.